Hey everybody, I'm Russell Envy. I'm going to show you how I treasure hunt in the metaverse known as Upland. You can follow me right here on Twitter, Russell ENVY. Let's dive into our game. Let's learn how to treasure hunt in Upland. You can see that we are logged in. As always, you want to know a couple of things: where your profile is, how much UPX you're working with, UPX as some people call it. I've got 121,000 or I've got $121, depending on how you want to look at it. I've got 10,000 UPX sitting over here or $10 over here waiting to be claimed. Some of our other stuff here that we're not going to use for treasure hunting, but we are going to use this little map icon down here in the bottom right hand corner of the screen. We're also going to use this little map, this little icon. When you click this, it's going to center your block explorer in the screen. Down here on the left-hand side, we're going to use this quite often as we treasure hunt. This is actually a tool that I use. We're going to get into tips and tricks. Don't worry about it. All right, let's get started. What is treasure hunting in the Upland Metaverse? Simply put, treasure hunting is where there is a treasure at a location. So as we zoom out, you can see I've got this Piñata right here. I've actually got a couple of them on my screen. But I've got this giraffe here, and this giraffe was actually, when there was a treasure hunt going on, it lived at one of these locations. And so when you treasure hunt, what you're doing is you're going to follow a set of arrows or guides, as they're called, and they're going to point you in the direction in which you need to go to find a treasure. When you find a treasure, this is called a piñata. So what this means is that if I were to click on this, this thing is going to start dancing across. See how it's bouncing up and down right now? If I were to click on this giraffe, it would tell me to get ready, and then I would have to start tapping on this giraffe. I'd have to start clicking on it with my mouse really quick, or I'd have to start tapping on my phone if I'm on mobile. But this thing actually starts dancing across the screen, and it flips. It's kind of like the children's game with a piñata where, you know, you whack the piñata, you get all the candy out of it. But in this sense, you're getting UPX instead of candy, which is pretty cool. So treasure hunting is where you start from a location. So I always like to start from this property that I have here on the corner of Elizabeth and Douglas. This is in San Francisco. But so what I like to do here is I always like to start, and then when there's a treasure hunt, you click on one of your little properties here, or you can click on a surrounding area. It doesn't matter. But this is actually going to show you there's going to be arrows pointing which way to go. And so, you know, you're going to follow those until you get to the property with the treasure. So there are currently 3 different types of treasure hunts that are going on. There's 2 types, and there's 3 classifications, if you will. So the first type is called a classic. So a classic treasure hunt, see right here where it says classic, see in this purple where it says classic, and then right here it also says classic. All 3 of these hunts right here, when they're ready to go off, they're going to show you, these are the little arrows that I keep speaking about. They're going to point in the direction in which you need to move your block explorer to a property in order to get this treasure. So this classic one always shows the arrows. There's another one called stealth, and I think if we go to Oakland, see right here, it says stealth. Let's try it again. We're going to load this, treasures, and then we'll say stealth. This was a little fast this time. But a stealth hunt is not going to show you the arrows. So that's the biggest difference between a classic and a stealth hunt is this classic, whether you're doing a standard, you're doing a limited, or you're doing an exclusive, if it says classic, it's going to show you these little icons, and it's going to point which way to go. A stealth hunt means that you need to be, your block explorer needs to be on a property, and this property has to be within a certain area of this treasure right here. And then it will show you arrows. So we'll cover that a little bit more here in a second because we're going to be doing classic hunts today, but we'll talk about stealth hunts. So if you click on your three little dots here, let's go to treasures. This is how you get to your treasure screen. So we can see currently there are 5 people that are registered for treasure hunting right now. This is myself. This is Junjun Pinoy. This is Luke 1. This is Warlord, and I can't tell you who this is. Can't even pronounce that name. But these right here, Warlord is somebody that I question if I'm even going to play if I see this little icon. Luke 1 is another individual who's very fast, and Junjun Pinoy 57 is a very, very fast treasure hunter. They probably might say the same thing about me. I think that's pretty cool in Upland is that we all kind of say, the same thing about each other, but really fast treasure hunters. But you can see here, 5 people are ready for the next hunt. We don't know when that is going to be because when you click on treasure, you'll see here, see how this says charging? It means that it's waiting to fire off again. Same thing with this one here. Let's see if we can go to a different city by clicking this little world icon, and then you can see all of the cities where we treasure hunt. So let's try Manhattan and see how this one says ready in right here. So this is actually counting down. So these 7 players all have treasure hunt enabled on their game. I'll show you how to enable that here in a second. But, not all 7 of these people might be going for this, but this is counting down. You have 1 minute and 23 seconds before this treasure in Manhattan is about to go off. So when this counts down to 0, instead of saying ready in, it's going to say active. This is going to light up. Right now it's kind of like a dark purple and a dark white or a dark gray. This will light up. And then it will say active, and then what will happen is players, they'll zoom into their property wherever they are, and they'll click on it, and then it's going to show you an arrow. It's going to say left, it's going to say right, top, or bottom, and they're going to, zoom out from wherever they are, and let's say they got to go up and to the right. They're going to zoom out a little. They're going to come over here up and to the right, and, depending on how far they think it is from where they currently are, they'll send their block explorer to that location. We're going to do a treasure hunt here, so, stick with me. But you can see here, we've got 23 seconds. While this counts down, let's go through another thing, too. We're currently on the active tab. You can go to the history tab, and you can actually see all of the treasures that have been won and who they have been won by. You can even click on their profile, see this person is a pro. Pretty cool. Let's click back. So see how this is active now? When it's charging, it's kind of blacked out, or it's kind of got this opacity over it. But when you're ready to roll, see, this is active. Right now in Manhattan, there are 7 people, and they're looking for this treasure currently. Maybe 5 people, could even just be 1 person, A lot of people in San Francisco, they will wait however long it takes for this exclusive to load, and they'll let other people, maybe people new to treasure hunting in San Francisco, they'll actually let them go and win these ones because you get the most money out of these exclusives versus these limiteds. But so you can see here, this is what it looks like when it goes active. So you have 3 modes actually. You have ready, or you have charging, and then you have ready in, which was showing us a countdown, and then you have active. So these are the types that you have. You have a standard treasure hunt. This means that you are the only person who can hunt for this type of treasure. This standard, you're the only person. So if I were to click spawn and I were to go ahead and create this would give me a 5-minute countdown, and this would actually let me start treasure hunting, and I'm the only person who's going to find this treasure. These other 2 here, when you're looking at a limited, this is a group, and this is also a group activity, which means anybody who is listed up here will be, if they're eligible, it will say active, or it will tell you that you're not eligible. That's actually a thing. But it will show you, hey, these 7 people getting ready, you qualify, you're ready to go. So you can actually start hunting for these. So group, purple, group, orange, solo, blue, by yourself. Let's break down a little bit of this. You are going to have the most UPX prizes or the most money, let's say, on a regular basis coming out of this exclusive, this orange. Now, San Francisco, Manhattan, and Chicago, those 3 cities, as of the recording of this video, those are the 3 cities that are having the biggest payouts for these orange exclusives. And that's because those are our tier 1 cities: Chicago, Manhattan, and San Francisco. They're tier 1 cities. So if we actually go and we look at this, let's look at Manhattan. You can see that there's a $6,000 prize, a $3,000 prize, a $3,000 prize. Again, this is $3.68. I'm saying $3,000. That's kind of how my mind works a little bit, but this is, $52.75 UPX. 5,275 UPX is what this Piñata won. So you can see that in Manhattan, they're kicking out some pretty good prize money. Let's go look at San Francisco, another tier 1 city. This has got 3,000 UPX, 2,000 UPX. That's 3,000, 2,000, 12,000 UPX, which is pretty good. 42. So you can see these are pretty high paying orange exclusives here in our history. Now, if we were to go look at a tier 2 city, let's go look at Oakland. You can see Oakland, they've got 1,500, a little smaller. This has got 1,200. This one's got 1,200. This one only had 656 in it. I don't know if the player didn't know how to collect it or what. But, not amazing. We saw some 12,000, some 6,000s, and even that tier 1 city. But you can just see the difference here. This must have been a lot of money in the pool or something at the time. But 570, you can see 1,609. So tier 1, tier 2 cities, obviously, tier 1s are going to pay out more. So San Francisco, Manhattan, Chicago. Obviously, those are the cities with the most hunting going on. Those are the most competitive. Let's go to Chicago right now. This is the first day in a while that it didn't say Riot Mode. So let's cover Riot Mode here for a minute. This one's actually in Riot Mode. Cool. So see right here where it says Riot Mode. This little notification, it doesn't matter what city you go to. We can go to Brooklyn. It says Riot Mode right here. We can go to Bakersfield. It says Riot Mode right here. But so let's go back. Let's go to Manhattan. So if you have at least, I think it's 24 or 25 players, if you have at least that many people that are looking for an active hunt, it will actually enable Riot Mode. It was in Chicago. Let's go to Chicago. So you can see the last time that this orange exclusive was ready to go, was treasure hunting, was active, if you will. There was over 25 or 26 people hunting for it. So that enabled Riot Mode. So that means that the next time that this exclusive comes out, this thing called Riot Mode, which means double, is active. So if we go into our history, we're looking for this little fire guy icon. And so you can see this treasure, because it was it's in this fire mode or Riot Mode. This was supposed to be half of this. So 320, 360, then you 720. And then it looks like this Piñata here was supposed to be maybe $4,040 or something like that, and they doubled it. You can see this Piñata was supposed to be 600 something, 609, and it turns out to be 1218. So, Riot Mode for me usually means double or it means like an extra multiplier, something along those lines. But you can see here, like Chicago is always in riot mode. You're going to win the most money in Chicago, but Chicago is a very competitive city. There's 24 people hunting in it right now. Compared to San Francisco, there's only 3 people playing. We could actually technically go hunt for this if we wanted to. Maybe we'll catch the next one. So, all right, that is all of our treasure hunting. That is what treasure hunting is. You have standard, which is you play alone. You are the only person to go find these. Or you have limited and exclusive. These are community. This is open to anybody who is in the city who has treasure hunt mode enabled. They can go look for this. And I actually don't see anybody. Has Junjun won? He has. And then I don't know if these people are going to go for it. Should we try to go get for this treasure? I mean, it's sitting there. Why not? Let's dive in. Let's go in here. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on this little property here. And then because our block explorer is pretty close to this property, we can actually stay within this little tail here. We can click on any one of these properties. And let's click on treasure. See this little arrow right here? Let's go ahead and click on this one. So this is telling me a couple of things. This is telling me that where my block explorer is compared to where the treasure is, it's telling me that I have to go right. All right, and then you can also see these little arrows here. See how they're kind of pulsating? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. As you get closer, these are going to start pulsating more, and then they're actually going to change from white to red as you get closer. So let's make sure I have enough sends. I've got 10 right there. Let's not click the dinosaur. So I was pretty close. Let's go right here. 100 UPX, that's a lot of money. I am normally not really picky when it comes to how much I'm going to pay to send. But as of right now, I really am not trying to win this Piñata per se, or whatever this is right here. All right, this is 20 UPX. That's better. Let's go ahead and send here. And then let's click this little map icon and send us back in. We'll talk about that here in a second. But so see, now we click on this property and see we went a little too far. It was telling us to the right and it was pulsating 1, 2, 3. Now we went a little too far. But now we know. So let's go down and it's kind of pointing this way. Let's go see if maybe one of my properties. Let's go ahead and click here. All right, so now we're going to click on this. Oh, yeah. Okay, so see how it was white and now it's red? So it's telling me from where I am now on my property, I'm really close because we see that red and it's pulsating 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's pulsating rapidly. So you can actually click on a few properties away, even from where your block explorer is now. We sent here. But we can actually click down here and it's telling us, all right, so we want to skip this row. And I think it's going to be somewhere down here. So let's go ahead and click send, confirm. And I'm going to hit my little map piece down in the bottom left, send down here, click. So, oh yeah, now look at this little arrow. When we click here, see how it's deeper red and it's pulsating even more now? That means we're super close. And then as we start clicking on properties, when we get really, really close, that thing's going to start pulsating a little bit more. So now we're out of range. So, I think it's going to be down here, a little closer down here. Let's go ahead and send. Let's go ahead here, click on this property. Oh yeah, look at this now. Now look at this little thing as it's pointing here. Look at it bounce. Hey, right here, right here, right here. Look at me. So this is telling me where I got to go. And now see no more arrow. See how we have this circle now? Now we found the exact location of this treasure. So we click on it, let our explorer settle here, and it's going to tell us, hey, we found a treasure. Give us a second here. Click on the send. Come on. Come on. Tell me we got a treasure. Please tell me that we have a treasure. Sometimes there's this weird delay. I mean, I know that I'm on the property. I know that I sent to it. I know I'm the only person that's looking for it, basically. There ain't nobody on here right now, but it's not telling me that I have the actual treasure. That's okay. Let's see. I know a little secret trick here to maybe help us. I'm waiting for this thing to load. Come on. Tell me. I mean, there it is. It's sitting right there. What else do you want me to do with this? Why is this not popping up, which is very weird? You can see that when you claim a treasure, it should say, hey, you found a treasure. Go ahead and claim it now. But it's not giving me that. It's just sitting here as if I didn't even click on this property at all. Very, very interesting. So what I'm trying to do right now is I'm actually trying to load my phone. And I'm actually trying to go collect this on my phone right now. There we go. Go to Piñata. Okay. So now I'm going to refresh this. So that was my little trick. I logged in on my phone. I'm on my desktop right now, but I logged in on my phone. As soon as I logged in on my phone, it told me, congratulations, I found a Piñata. Not this one. I already had these claimed, but if we zoom in to where my block explorer is now, you can see I have this pineapple. I'm going to go ahead and collect this send. We're going to have to collect some, but now I have this pineapple. So you can see where this property was, right? We were following arrows. It told us where to go, and then we clicked on this property and we found the circles. No more arrows, just circles. Clicked on it. Finally got the little message to show up, hey, you won a Piñata. Great. So now this is ours. So now a couple of things is it cost me some moves. I'm back to 11 sends because I just collected that paper airplane. But it did cost me some moves from where I started to where I am. So I had 11 sends at the time, and then I went down to maybe 8 or 9, so it took me a couple sends. So I'm going to have to replenish those. But also, now, if I were to click these 3 little dots here and go to treasures, you can see that I'm no longer eligible here. I have to wait 3 hours before I can collect the next Piñata. So even though, let's say this exclusive, let's say it started right now, I'm not eligible. I'm not eligible for another 2 hours, 58 minutes, and 17 seconds. So you really need to be not picky per se, but you do need to look at your history and see, okay, there was a treasure found 41 minutes ago. So, I know that these exclusives, they go about every 2.5, 3 hours, sometimes up to 4 or 5 hours. So I know that it's going to be a while. And because it's going to be a while, maybe I'll go after this hunt right here. Maybe I'll go after this one. So, you have to determine that for yourself. I did it here because I wanted to show you what treasure hunting was like for one of these. And I don't win too many on my desktop. I usually treasure hunt on my mobile. So that's actually a thing too. But look at this. Now we have this Piñata. So now if we scroll out, you can see I've got 2 dinosaurs, I've got 2 unicorns, I've got a giraffe, and I've got a pineapple. We're going to have some awesome prizes here. At the end of this video, I'm going to collect these. What I'm going to do is switch over to my mobile. I'm going to collect those, and then when I edit this video, it will all be put together. You'll see at the end of this video. It's going to be great. Sweet. So we talked about what kind of treasures there are, type of treasures with the color. You can see active versus the history. Let's go look, one thing you can do too is if you were treasure hunting, let's say for this property and you lost, you'd see my name here. You can actually see the property where this was recovered. So 139 Chavez Avenue. So you can actually come down here to the bottom right-hand corner, click on this little search, and go 139 CHAV, and it even comes up right here. And you can actually click on it, and it will take you to where the treasure was found, right here, 139. So then what you could do is you can actually scroll out and you can see how far away you might have been from here. So if you were getting those little red arrows and you were close, but it told you, hey, somebody already found the treasure. That's one thing that you can do is figure out, how much farther you had to send, how much you were going, or if you were second guessing yourself and maybe not sending your explorer as far as you should have. You can see where all of these treasures have been found. And then not only that, you can actually start mapping them as well. So now we know there's one here. We obviously know where my piñatas are. We can see where these have spawned. But, looking at the previous tab or looking at the history, you can kind of get an idea and see, hey, you know what? 6 out of the last 10 have been found down here in this bottom right-hand corner. I'm probably going to start closer to this bottom right-hand corner next time because, 6 out of 10 chance that it's going to be there. So, there's a lot of statistics, a lot of data that you can look at, that you can manage here, and the history is definitely one of them. All right, looking at history, what do we have next here? Different cities, not all of them have exclusives. So, Tier 1 cities like San Francisco, they have all three. They have your standard, they have your limited, and they have your exclusive. Tier 2 city like in Oakland, also standard, limited, exclusive. Again, not as big as prizes, but they do have these three. Our Tier 3 cities only have these two. This is Fresno. When I first started in the game, it was San Francisco, Manhattan, and Fresno. Those were the only 3 cities that you could be in at the time. Pretty cool. But Fresno is not a very big town. It also doesn't have a lot of people competing in it, which is a pro, not a con, when you're starting out treasure hunting. Less competition means you're more than likely going to win a treasure, and then you can start getting familiar with how treasure hunting works, and then you can move your way up to a Tier 2, a Tier 3 city, and going from there. But you can see, Fresno is one of those that doesn't have it. I think, I don't think, I know there's a few that don't have all 3 of them. I think Staten Island is the other one. Yeah, Staten Island doesn't have that one. And then, Bakersfield. Bakersfield also doesn't have an exclusive. And then I think everything else does. Yes. Cleveland, I think, yes. Chicago for sure. We do know. Brooklyn, yes. Yep, had to go check. So I think there's only 3 cities currently that do not have this exclusive. So, you always want to try to hunt the exclusive, bigger prize, bigger spark, all that good stuff. But just so you know, not all cities in Upland are equal when it comes to treasure hunting and the prizes. And then last but not least, always remember how many people are hunting. If you see a huge number of people and you're not great at treasure hunting just yet, maybe wait until there's less people, because you are spending UPX. You are going to be spending money in the game, whether you paid for it with USD or you earned this UPX, however you did. It is going to cost you something to send to these different properties, and so you really want to be mindful of how much it's going to cost, or you want to just, again, if you have 18 people treasure hunting, and like I said, I saw a few names that even I'm like, ooh, I don't know if I want to go against them. I myself will actually second guess if I should treasure hunt or not. So I need to get this to reload here for a second. We can't treasure hunt unless that UPX, as some people call it, unless there's a value there. So let's go ahead, refresh. Let's let this load. This is kind of cool. It always shows you a piñata, and then we'll zoom in. We'll see if this loads here. Probably because I loaded the game on my phone, so it probably got confused on where to pull the data. We'll wait here for a second. Cool. So let's talk about boundaries for a second. Now that we know what kind of hunts there are, what kind of hunting we can do, and the differences in hunting, one of the biggest tips that I can give anybody when it comes to treasure hunting in Upland, knowing your boundaries. So down here in this bottom right-hand corner, click on this little marker, if you will, this little map right here. Click on this. Now you can see the actual outlines for the city. So right now, I'm in San Francisco. These treasures can only be found within the border. So I have a little bit of tips and tricks when it comes to San Francisco, but I want you to see a city like San Francisco compared to Oakland. Compared to the east side of Oakland versus the east side of San Francisco, even though San Francisco has all these little jagged edges with all these little piers and stuff, the edge or the boundary is almost flat. You can almost see it. But when we're talking about Oakland, you can see it comes in and then it goes up and then it goes around and then it comes down and it gets shorter and then it's got all these little turns here. That makes treasure hunting a little bit harder in a city like Oakland. Because technically speaking, you could be right here. You could send your explorer to one of these properties and it will still be telling you that you have to go up to find the treasure. And even though you can't go up, you can go up because over here is up higher than here. So, that's one of those things where when you start treasure hunting, you want to understand where your boundaries are, how far you can go left or right. So lastly, let's go over here. Let's go look at a city like, we'll go look at Kansas and Chicago. Kansas, there's nothing here that really gives you where the border is. Technically speaking, if we turn this off, we can kind of see this little line here that separates the states. But nothing up here, nothing around here. So again, I think Kansas is a little hard to treasure hunt in because at different points of this map, it gets wider and thinner as you go up, as you go down. So it gets, a little bit more tricky. And then even with a city like Chicago, this is a lot of distance to cover, depending on where you start. I like to start in the middle, so I'll actually send from like this property. I'll start here because I have an equal distance top to bottom, and then I'm pretty close to the edge. This is also the thinnest part of the city, so I know that if I'm going left or if I'm going right, I'm not going too much farther here. But so I like to start in the middle. Doesn't matter what city I'm in. I always try to start in the middle if possible. But you can see, we have this great water line on the east side of the city, but we really don't have a great line when it comes to the west side of the city. Again, you could be here in Cicero and it could be telling you pointing to the left, and it, because you can still go left down here, you can still go left a little further up here, it might throw you off. So, my tip is to always understand where you're treasure hunting, what you're treasure hunting, what city you're in. One thing I did was I went and bought these little properties and I bought them along the border. That's kind of one of my strategies here. So I know that if I'm looking here, and let's say, I start here at this one and it's telling me down and to the left, I know that this right here is the farthest left I can go in this quadrant. And then I know that this little box, you can see if I turn this on, this little box goes in here, and I can actually physically see that because I see the borders, but then also my little properties are also marking this for me. So while Chicago was, being minted and had a lot of open properties, I went on a spending spree and I wanted to make sure that I had one or two properties in every little section, every little neighborhood that I could. And I wanted to make sure that I had a covered map to where, I'm competitive if I come over here to Chicago. So let's go look at a city like San Francisco, and let me tell you why I think San Francisco has a bigger advantage than a city like Chicago. Even though Chicago has Riot Mode, and it has a lot of people hunting in it, and it has bigger rewards than even we've seen tonight in San Francisco, I think San Francisco is the better city to treasure hunt in, and that's because I treat San Francisco like an island. So what I mean by that is you can see here that maybe I have to send to a property. I'm still waiting for my UPX to come in. That might be lagging the game. I might need to log out here, log back in. I'm not really sure. But so, when I'm treasure hunting here in San Francisco, when I see those arrows, the ones that were just guiding us to go get this pineapple, I know that if it says, hey, go left, the farthest left I can go is over here on the Great Highway. Obviously, there's not going to be properties in the water. Same thing with the north and with the east over here. So really, no matter what, if it tells me up and to the right, again, up and to the right, you can only go so far. Up and to the left can only go so far. There's also not properties, or there might be one hidden somewhere, but you're really not going to find any properties in this area. You're not going to find any properties in this green area, and you're not going to find anything down here in this bottom green area either. So, you kind of already have a big area. It's small, but it's big for a small city. But I think that the easiest thing about San Francisco is you just need to remember this bottom line. So if we turn this on, you can see that there's this bottom line. You can't send past here, and there's also no properties past here. So when I'm treasure hunting, again, I don't have my little map on. I don't need to see the boundaries because I have this, this blueprint in my head. But I know that if I need to send down here to the south, I have this little Y marker right here. See right here in the freeway for Alameda Boulevard. See right here in the freeway. If I turn this back on, you can see that my boundary line for San Francisco is almost where this Y starts. So you do have little map markers in San Francisco that can tell you where to go. Or if you come over here, you can see, this is a great little spot to remember too. So if you're zooming out and you're looking like where's the bottom line, this is a great marker too. It shows you right here like where this water inlet stops. It shows you like where San Francisco is as a whole. You want to know your boundaries. You want to know your surroundings, how far you're going to have to go, depending on the arrow. And I think the best city for treasure hunting is San Francisco. Again, you can't send farther than the water. You have a very clear outline of where you can and can't go. And you only have to remember one border. Let's look at Fresno for a second. Fresno, you can see here, if we turn on our map marker, you can see a city like Fresno. The green actually around all of this white part of the city kind of gives you that boundary, if you will. You know that if you're sending into this green, there's probably not properties here. Same thing down in the south. There might be a few. Nope. The most green is going to be south and a little bit north up here. But for the most part, even a city like Fresno, you can look at this so many times and then you're going to see those boundaries and you don't even need to have this on anymore. But so understand your boundaries, where you're going, what you're doing. There are better cities to hunt in, like we said. And we just compared all of our cities. So, my biggest tip is know what you're doing, where you're going, and have your boundaries set, and let's go from there. So now that we know what treasure hunting is, we've treasure hunted a little bit. A big part of treasure hunting is sends. See these little paper airplanes? What I'm doing is I'm clicking on my little explorer here, and then it gives me an X to close this. I can look at my properties here, or I can click on this little airplane, and this little airplane will tell me I have 11 sends. I can send my little block explorer 11 different owned properties. So it doesn't cost me anything right here to send to this property. If I go ahead and click confirm, didn't cost me anything. I own the property. But if I were to go to here, it's going to cost me 30 UPIX, and then, it's going to take out of my balance, and then it will cost me to send here. So one of the things that you want to do is you need to find sends, and so sends are going to be on the map in random locations, and they are these little paper airplanes here. What you want to do is you want to see if there are any sends around your property before you spend any money whatsoever. Go look at all of your properties here and see, this send is actually pretty close to here. You could actually send your block explorer and confirm it, get it to come down here. And then now what you're trying to do is you're trying to get your explorer to move this way. So you can send to your property again, and we can see that it was going up and to the left. Now we're going to wait for a second. Now it's going up and to the right. We can zoom in. We can see that tail. So you can actually sit here and keep sending your block explorer back to your property until it goes the direction which you want. Sometimes it's just not going to do it for you. Don't know what to tell you. Maybe go send it to a couple other places and come back and see if it goes. I don't need it right now because I have the most amount of sends, which is 11, but you can see, I would try to get my explorer even here. See how it's going down? It's going down. It's going to cross the path of this little arrow or the airplane, or it's going to come really close. So there's a radius around your explorer. There's a little circle around here. So you can actually see, I'll show you it. If you click on treasure, see where it says all treasures are recharging? So that means that I'm within distance of my block explorer or this little line, this little tail. So I can actually click here, and it also tells me, even though my block explorer is one street over, it's across Gate Street, because this property is within my original sending location, or it's within this little black tail, or it's within the distance of my explorer here, it's going to tell me, see, all treasures are recharging. Now, if I were to come down here a little bit, see how I'm not close? It doesn't tell me anything. So you can learn the distance. We can even probably click right here right now, and it tells us all treasures. So we're not even across Eugenia right here, and you can see all treasures. Let's click on this one, all treasures. This one, so Ellsworth. So you can see the distance from here. You can send basically to one of these properties here. So you have a pretty big radius. This block explorer is obviously going to pass by, and that radius is going to be here. So you're actually going to be able to collect this airplane, even though, we wanted to collect this one. You're still going to be able to collect your sends. So click on your little explorer, see where it says this number, or go ahead and click on a property and click on send, and that same number will show up. I don't have any UPIX right now, so it tells me I have to get more. But if it did, it would tell me I have 11 sends. So what you want to do is you want to collect all the airplanes that you can. Now, if you send to all of your properties, and for whatever reason, there is not an airplane within any location of what you have, you're going to have to send your explorer out. You'd have to send it to close by. So see, again, this airplane, we probably can be a few properties away. We would be 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 4 would be okay. But see, this one costs 40 UPIX to send to. This one costs 75, so you always want to try to find a cheaper deal. That one's got 40. That one's got 100. I think above here, this was 25. Yeah, 25. So Expedia would have the cheapest property within this area so far that we've found. 40. Let's go down here really quick. 40. Yeah, so Expedia would have the cheapest, but you would have to send your Explorer, get it within, the boundary of your Explorer before you can send it. So one of the tips I have for you is you never want to collect sends by themselves. So what I mean by that is, like right now, let's say I had 10 sends, okay? I want 11. So if I were to not be within this range here, I would have 10 sends, and I would have to send it to this property, and I'd have to click send, and then I would click OK. After OK, my little Explorer would go here, but I would go from 10 sends, and I would be down to 9. So it cost me 1 send to go collect 1, 2, however many are up here. I think 8 is the most that is inside of a send. But more than likely, this is going to have 2 in it. So it costs you 1 send to collect 2 sends. And, so if you had, let's say, 5 sends, you would go down to 4, and then you'd collect 2. So now you're to 6. And then you're going to go collect this one. So you go from 6 down to 5. And then you collect 2. Now you're up to 7. You just sent 2 of your sends that you could have collected if they would have been within the range of your property. So you want to be mindful of how many sends it costs you, or how many sends it takes to go collect up to 11. Obviously, if you send to your property and you cross this, it didn't cost you any sends, and it didn't cost you any UPX because you sent from your property to this arrow. Or to this paper clip airplane. You get it. But one of the tips I want to show you is we're going to scroll here for a little bit. So see, here's another one by itself. That's okay. I guess if we're desperate, we can remember that. But what I'm looking for 2 of these airplanes that are very, very close together. So when I find an airplane, I like to look around, see if I can see anything next to it. Okay, there's nothing to that one. There's nothing within the boundaries of this one. Let's scroll over. I think that, let's go look. This is kind of what I'm talking about, but these are a little too far from each other. Let's go over to Outer Sunset. We're probably going to find a couple in Outer Sunset here. Let's zoom back, zoom in. We're going to look here, going through, still don't see any, but I'm trying to find 2 airplanes that are right on top of each other, or, best friends. They're within like a couple properties from each other. So I see a few, but I don't see any that are really close. Again, these are close, but if you send your Explorer to one of these properties, you're only going to be able to collect one, not the other. And the likelihood of sending to this property, collecting this, and then trying to get your Explorer to go down to collect this one probably isn't going to happen. So I like to make sure that my airplanes are within a couple properties of each other at least. So let's go see if we can find a couple. I don't want to take up too much time doing this, but I do think it's important to show you what I'm talking about here. Because, math actually comes into this now too. If it cost you 20 UPX to send to this property, and then you collect 2 sends, 20 UPX divided by 2, it costs you 10 UPX for each send that you collected. Now, if you were to find 2 of these paper airplanes that are very close to each other, it might cost you 1 time of 20 UPX to send to this little guy right here, but you're going to collect more than 2. You're going to collect maybe 4, 5, 6. So now you take that 20 UPX divided by 6, and now you have 3.3 UPX per send. So you're actually paying less to collect more sends. So that's why I'm a big fan of trying to find airplanes that are right next to each other if possible. I don't know if we're going to be able to find them. Maybe as we start doing our other hunt, we'll come across. We'll see if we can. Definitely nothing down here. Zoom in. A little disappointing. You know, the other place that we can go check really quick is up here by Geary Boulevard. This is a big treasure hunting spot. So again, none of these are really close to each other. None of them are what I'm exactly looking for. You know, so be it. That's okay. That's okay. Let's go take a look maybe up here. Nothing. Those are not within each other. Let's go look here. Nothing. Nothing. All right. That's enough out of here. We already have our 11 sends. No big deal. This might work. I think this actually would work, because you would want to send to one of these properties, because this property, again, your block explorer has that radius around it. And I think that these would be within the radius. So you'd want to send maybe here, maybe one of these two, maybe even this one would be okay. But these are, higher UPX. This one costs 110 cents basically, compared to paying, 2 cents, paying 2 pennies or 20 UPX. So you always want to try to get a good deal, but I think this would work. I think you could send your explorer and you can collect these. So as we start collecting sends after each treasure hunt, you're going to want to replenish, and you're going to want to see if you can find sends that look like this. This is actually also okay as well. These are within a couple properties of each other. You could send right here in the middle. One of these here. Same thing with these right here. Any one of these properties here, up here, or even down here, as long as you're somewhere between these, you can actually go and collect these. So we actually have 3 examples that we can show here. We have, let's go like this. These 2 over here, you can send here. These 2 or these 2. So this is actually a great area. We're going to remember Geary Boulevard, and we're going to remember the dividing freeway right here. This is actually for the Golden Gate Bridge. This will actually get you to Golden Gate. That's what this is, and it actually comes out of Golden Gate Park. So we'll remember that, because we are going to have to collect some sends after this treasure hunt. But so that's how you collect sends. That's what sends are. They actually help you move around here. So there's different ways to find sends, and then you always want to find 2 paper airplanes that are close together. Alrighty, let's go ahead. Let's refresh one more time. Let's see if we can get our UPX to show on screen here. If not, what I will do is I will log out real quick. I will log right back in, and then it will show me. You can kind of force it in that way. Let's give it a second here. Alrighty. Hum. Not loading for me. All right, not loading for me. So I'm actually going to come up here. I'm going to my settings. I'm going to click log out. Now, I don't want to show anybody my password. I also don't want to show anybody my 2-factor authentication. I'm going to move this off screen real quick. Go ahead and trust that all I'm doing right now is I'm just logging in to my account. Just like that, and then it's just like this, and then my 2-factor authentication. It wants me to enter in my code, and I also have a CAPTCHA. No big deal. All right, there's my 2-factor. There's that. Okay, let's bring this back over. There's my UPX. There we go. So logging out, logging in will show you. I actually have some Spark. That's awesome. All right, so I have 121,333 UPX. Translate that, $121 in Upland right now. That's not including these 6 piñatas that we are going to collect at the end of this. Again, I'm going to, at the very end of this video, I'm going to make another one that's on my mobile phone. I'm going to merge the two together. We'll have one final edited version of this where it shows you everything that we've gone through so far, everything we're about to go through, and then the big payoff of collecting all of these piñatas to see how much money I've collected in the last 2 days. So let's get into treasure hunting. Let's do this here. Let's go on a couple hunts. Let me show you, I like to start here in the center. No matter what, I always like to start in the center. So I'm going to hit confirm, send my little explorer. So we're going to start here. We have to have our treasure turned on. So click on any property, doesn't matter. Make sure it's within your block explorer here. And then click treasure. So now treasure right here is enabled. We're good to go. We can actually click on this property. Again, this property is within the boundary of my explorer. It's within the boundary of this tail, and it's within the boundary of my original property that I sent to. So I actually like to start from a bigger property, not from a smaller property. So I've never heard anybody else say this. I think this is one of my super secret tips and tricks that not too many people know about, or that I've just never heard anybody else say. Maybe they're keeping it for themselves. I'm going to share it with you right now. So see here, when I click on this property, see how I have a bigger advantage. See how I have like a vantage point of all of these properties around me. If I were to start on a smaller property, see how I'm zoomed in, and I can only see 1, 2, 3 properties, compared to being on this big one here. I can see a lot of properties. So you can actually see there's a couple of things going on here. When I click on this property, it outlines it in this black border. It does it by itself. You can't turn that on or off. But it also, depending on what property you click on, it puts it in the center of your screen. So you can see there's this transition from center to bringing something center. So what I like to do is I like to center my big property here. So see, this is wherever it lands, click on it, let it settle. This is centered. So what I want to do is I want to click the X, and then I want to click on this property really quick. It's like this, X. See, I'm trying to limit this position here. Even when I start, I don't even like this movement. I want there to be no movement. Let's close this. This is pretty good. This is not bad. There's a little movement, but it's not bad. Again, it's not this. It's not having to zoom right, then center, then in. Watch it again. Zoom right, in, center. Then it's going to show me my arrows. I like to start from this much bigger property. So even if you like to start, let's say somewhere up here, this is a great property. When you click on this again, you have a much wider view clicking on one of these compared to, again, if you click on one of these thin ones here, see how much farther you're zoomed in. I think you have an advantage being zoomed out as far as possible. So in order to zoom out far as possible, click on a bigger property. That's my little hint here. So when I always start from this center, I send to this piece. I'm going to hit send just so we're clear. But I am going to actually start from this big little property here, just like this. Bam. Cool. The other thing that I like to do, so let's say we click here, and let's say that I have an arrow telling me which way to go. I hunt on my mobile phone, so this is going to be a little bit difficult for me with my mouse, but I want to have as little scroll time as possible. So I want to try to, on my mobile phone, I'm trying to pinch and I'm trying to get it to zoom out as high as possible, but I'm also trying not to go this high because then I can't see the city that I'm in right now. So it's one of those things where you're trying to zoom out. This is probably pretty good. If it's telling you to go left, you can see all of left. If it's telling you to go right, you can see all of right. If it's telling you to go down to the right, you can basically see all the borders. This would maybe be ideal just because, you can put your mouse anywhere that you need it to be, and you can click right here and you can actually go there in an instance. Just put your mouse anywhere, like here, zoom in, put your mouse here, zoom in. So when we start from this property and it says, hey, go up to the left, I'm zoomed in like this. I'm going to zoom out, move my mouse. I'm going to move the screen just a little bit, but then I think the treasure's here. I'm just going to zoom in and I'm trying not to zoom in as far as I can, but it's not a big deal if you do. But so that's how I treasure hunt, which is starting from the center. We're going to get the screen to lock, is what I call it. Hit the X like this. X. No transition if possible, or very, very little. There we go. Pretty good. Alrighty. So now that you know where I'm starting from, how I like to start from a big property, I do not like to look at what it costs to send to a property. When I'm treasure hunting, I don't care what this number is. Because when you treasure hunt for the exclusives, which is what these piñatas are here, except for this pineapple, you don't have time to nickel and dime. I might trademark that. Hold on real quick. Okay, trademark. All right. You don't have time to nickel and dime in Upland as you do with a standard hunt. If you are trying to go and collect one of these piñatas and you're still trying to figure out, well, this one's 45, that's too much. This one's 30, okay, that's better. Click here. This one's 20. By the time you just did those three things, I have already landed here, figured out where the arrow is, and I'm gone. And you're still trying to figure out, which property you want to send to. So, you're not going to be fast or efficient if you're trying to save on a budget. But if you're trying to save on a budget, maybe you don't want to go as fast. Maybe you want to go compete in, again, Fresno, less competition, more likely to win the treasure and get your feet wet when it comes to treasure hunting. Cool. So where to start? Big prop versus small properties. Cost doesn't matter to me. Arrows and distance. All right. So this is one that we're going to talk about. And then we also have another thing here where it shows arrows. They're not always the same. All right. So let's get our treasure hunt going. The other thing here, before we treasure hunt, one last thing. I use this little bottom piece down here in the bottom left-hand corner, whether I'm on mobile or whether I'm on a desktop. I use this thing liberally. I can't say that word. Hope you had a good laugh. I use this so much. So if I were to, here's where I am now. And when I scroll or when I go to another property, watch what happens. I'm going to click here. I'm going to click and I hit send. I'm going to zoom out. Now we're waiting for my Explorer to move. And now we're going to zoom in. Look how much time just went by. Again, that's a lot of time. When you only have 35, 45 seconds to go and find these piñatas, again, not trying to scare anybody, realistically, this one was found 26 seconds from the start, 2 minutes from the start. That was a stealth. 39 seconds from recharge, or 39 seconds from start. That was a classic. You can just see you don't have a lot of time, especially even these limiteds. Look, 48 seconds, 37 seconds, 40, 36. This took 2 minutes. Maybe not a lot of people were there. 2 minutes to find this one. Again, you're not going to have 5 minutes to go hunt for these things, especially when you're trying to compete against the group. So, that was even this. This is a short distance, but watch. You have to click the property, zoom in, hit send, hit confirm. It shows us our move. And now it zooms in. So what I do, when I'm ready to send, I'm going to click on this property. I'm going to hit send like this. And then I'm instantly going to move over to the left-hand side of the screen and click on this little piece. Watch. Here, over to the left, click it. And now I'm already down here. I'm technically waiting for my piece as it's making that move. I'm not zooming out, waiting for it to move, and then zoom in. I'm trying to beat it. So again, I'm going to click here. I'm going to click on my property, send, confirm, click the little piece, zoom in, and I'm ready to go. That's one of my little tips here that I think gives me an advantage. Even if I zoom out and I zoom here and I'm going to send to this property, I'm going to hit send. As soon as I pay the UPX to send, it's going to start moving my little guy, and then I'm going to click this little puzzle piece. Gets me right back to my guy. So even right here, let's go down here. I have a property here. Again, watch this. Make sure I'm on my property. I'm going to hit send. I'm going to hit confirm. Watch this. It's got to go down. It settles. Still thinking about it. Now it zooms in. Or we can do it, I like to call it the Russell Envy way. Click here. Click on your property. Hit send, confirm, hit the little piece, and you're already down. Much faster, much more efficient. You're going to win more treasures doing small little things, especially starting from big properties, having the most amount of sends, and this little trick of being able to zoom in quicker than the default zoom in the game produces. So let's get into a treasure hunt. Let's go ahead, click on the three little dots down here. We're going to do a standard treasure hunt. So I'm going to spawn this. I'm going to click here. So I'm going to win anywhere between 230 to 600 or 6,600. So $6.60, or I'm going to win 23 cents. Depends on what the treasure is. I'm going to click this. Now, this money goes into the San Francisco pool, if you will, which provides, all this prize money, especially if you send from the airport down here. It might cost 1,800 UPX or $1.80 to send from Fresno to Chicago. That money goes into this pool, which fuels these treasures. So, you're not winning money that's being brand new printed. You're winning money that's being, circulating throughout the game, which is very interesting. But it's free UPX either way. Let's go ahead and hit here. This is going to cost you. I've already done a few of these. You do get a free one every single day. It will say spawn for free when you're ready. This one says spawn for 100, and see how it says 230 to 6,600. If you change your city to like Fresno, it's only going to cost me 20 UPX to spawn versus 100 in San Francisco. Again, tier 1 city, more to spend, more more to pay to play. It's also more expensive to send to your property in San Francisco compared to Fresno. The cheapest property in Fresno is 5 UPX. However much money it is, the cheapest in Frisco is going to cost you 20. If you can find a property and it's only going to cost you 20 UPX to send to it, that is the cheapest price in San Francisco. Compared to Fresno, which is 5 UPX. So again, tier 1 versus tier 3, different pricing, different scaling. That's what we're looking for. But again, even doing these standard, there's a different price for them. All right, enough talking. Let's get to it. Let's go ahead, zoom into my little guy here. Click on him. I've got 11 sends. I've got the most. We're ready to roll. Let's hit treasures, spend. All right, and spend. Now we're active. Now we have 5 minutes to go and find this. All right, we can click on any one of these properties. Our treasure is turned on. So now we see we are looking for our standard treasure, which is blue. So we're going to follow the blue arrows. If we saw a purple arrow, it would be the limited. If we saw a yellow or an orange, it would be the exclusive. Click on here. We can see this blue one here. So we are pretty close, actually. It's not going really slow, but so again, it's telling us to go down, and you can see bump, 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 bump. If we were any farther, it'd be going bump, bump, bump. It'd be showing these little lines a little slower. So we're a decent size here. So I do have a couple properties. Let's go down here. I'm going to try to send to my properties first so it doesn't cost me anything. We'll go over why here in a second. All right, so from where we were just up here at this property. I sent here, so it's telling me down, and then this property's telling me over. So if we draw a line, it's going to be somewhere about here. I want to say it's going to be closer to Judah Street. Let's go ahead and click here. This is 20, our cheapest send. Click in here. Let's go find. All right, now, see, no more white. Now we're close because we're within this red circle. So now, what I want to show you is you can actually, you can keep clicking over. I don't think it's going to let you see here, right? But it will show you, how far you need to go. So this is telling me go to the right, and I'm close, but I'm not super close, but I'm closer than where I was before. So this is kind of telling me I'm going to go a couple over. I'm going to go a couple blocks over. So instead of here, I'm going to go, let's say, the edge of over here to 26th. I'm going to go ahead and hit send. Now I'm down to 9. Zoom back in here. Now look at this. Now I have a deeper color red, and look at that. Bump, 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 bump. So now another thing here, we still have 2 minutes and 30 seconds. I'm not really worried about it. But if I were to go here, see how this really isn't pulsating? Like it is, but it's not going as fast as I think it could. Compare it to down here. Oh, look at this. So see, different sides of the street can be misleading. You actually might click on a property like this, and it's telling you you're close, but it's not telling you you're super close. So you might think that you actually might need to send down here to Kirkham or Lawton. But if you were to click over here, again, this thing is bouncing like crazy. So this is obviously one of these is going to be. One of these is it this big property? Nope. It's going to be this one. Nope. It's going to be this one. There it is. So there's the circles. So you can see from where we are coming down, here's our circles. No more arrows. It's pulsating. There it goes. See, this thing's going, hey, right here, right here. But even the last 3 properties were doing that. But you can see this is clearly where the treasure is. Here's the map. Go ahead and click send, confirm, let this land. And now it's going to say, congratulations, you've won yourself a treasure. Oh, come on. Man, I'm going to have to do this again where I load my game. I don't know why this is being this way. Normally it doesn't do this for me. Maybe it's because I'm on my mobile and I'm on my phone at the same time. Let's load in here. I know I have a Piñata already found. Let's close that. See if I can zoom in. Let's go ahead and load. Now this is probably going to show me a treasure chest. Sorry about that. Oh, go to treasure chest. This is even better. This is even better. Okay, so I'm done. I've already collected this, so I'm going to go ahead and refresh. I might lose my upix here. That's okay. But we've already done 2 hunts now. So you can see as I went through the game, I started in one place. I found that Piñata. Pretty cool. Let's zoom in. I have a new treasure here. Bam! Look at this. Look at this little box. This is Spark. So this is great. We've actually done. I can show you all of the different treasures now. So We originally started up here at this property. When we turned on our standard hunt, it told us to go down. So then we came to one of my properties here, and we sent down here, and then it told us to go up and to the left. So this told us down, this told us up to the left. We kind of followed that down, and then we kind of followed it here, which put us around this area. And then once it put us in this area, we just followed the arrows over towards where we are. And then eventually, this we got within a very close distance. Each one of these little properties was showing that little red bouncing arrow compared to the white bouncing arrow. We landed, we clicked on our thing. The only thing that you haven't seen so far today is the little pop-up that says, congratulations, go to your treasure. You do have to click that very quickly. Yeah, I just lost my Upix. That's okay. I'll log out. I'll log back in. But so you can see this is Spark. This is very coveted in this game. These other piñatas are tripping. They give you Upix. No matter what you win, these are only going to give you Upix. Again, not complaining. Any Upix is good Upix. But Upix can only buy you properties, or it can buy you some NFTs. But Spark stays with you forever. So if I click on my little icon here, I have 4.29 Spark. I have 2 available. I have 2.9 staking right now. But I also have this one right here. So let's go ahead and collect this. Why not? So you know what? We're going to save it for the end of the video for when we collect all the treasures. Let's do one mega thing together. That's going to be super fun. Okay, let's go ahead. Let's do another treasure hunt just so you're familiar with it. I'll show you my routine. Let me go ahead and log out real quick. Let me go ahead and log right back in like this. Never give out your username, never give out your password, anything like that. Hopefully you know that, but you can break the terms of service if you do that. You also don't want to get caught accounting, which is something that you never want to do. Always just stick to your one account. Okay, so see right here. See how it says go to Piñata? So when you win a treasure, whether it's a treasure chest or it's a Spark or something along those lines, if you are competing against other people, you want to click this button the fastest. So what I mean by that is, as soon as you land here, it's going to say, congratulations, you've won. Click on that little thing. And then it's going to load your Piñata. You don't have to load the Piñata. You can save this. I've been saving these for about a day and a half now, trying to make this video for everybody. But I did have to claim the treasure. Now that I've claimed it, it's just sitting here until I'm ready to do something with it. I'm actually going to share this on Twitter that we have all of these. This will actually be a good little icon for the YouTube video as well. Great. Let's go ahead. Let's go do one more treasure hunt. So let's click on my little guy. Click on this little thing here. See how it says I'm at 8? I need to go find some sends. So I'm going to go here. Let's look. I don't have any within my properties, but I do see what I've always been looking for and what we found here. Look at this. Look how close these are. So let me show you. I'm going to click here. 40 Upix. Let's click here. 20 Upix. This is the cheapest that we can have. So I'm going to go ahead and click send. I'm going to hit confirm. My little guy is going to move. Click my little piece, zoom in. Now my little explorer is between these two. So I can actually click here. So we're at 8. Now we're down to 7. So it costs us 20 UPX. And we collected 2. So now we're at 10 UPX per each send that we collected. Let's click this. We have 2, so we collected 4. So you take 20 divided by 4. We basically just paid 5 UPX to collect those sends. So, we paid 20 UPX total to replenish here. Or, we could have went to different airplanes all over, and it maybe would have cost us 80, 90, even 100 UPX, where that just cost us 20 and we're back to 11. So always try to find those airplanes that are tagged up if you can, or try to find airplanes that are super close to your properties. That's how you make up a lot of money that you spend. Cool. So let's go ahead. Let's spawn another one. These little ones, again, these treasures, where we're doing standard, we are the only ones who can compete for these. So it doesn't matter where you start. Doesn't matter at all. But it does if you're going to compete for some of the bigger stuff. Let's go ahead and start where we are. Again, 3 dots, treasure. Let's hit spawn. Again, 230 to 6600. Yes, send this to the pool. Great. Again, 5 minutes. Let's roll. Zoom in. Can click anywhere that I want to as long as it's within the trail. Click on treasure here. So see how it's pulsating? 1, 2, 3. We're not really close. Again, if we were super close, this would be red and it would be like right here, boom, 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 boom. It would be super fast. So we're not even close. So what we're going to do is we're going to send down here. This is the farthest south that I have a property. Let's go ahead and confirm. So here we are. So now this little arrow. It's giving us 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and it's showing us white where the other one was showing us clear. So we're closer. We're in the right area, but it's actually going to be, somewhere between my Explorer and I want to say Dewey Boulevard. I want to say it's going to be somewhere here. So let's go ahead. And let's look around. If you need to collect sends, you actually could send. You could send to any of these right here, and you could collect these 2, or you could collect these 2. You actually might be able to click on this property right here, and you might pull this off to where you could collect these 2, and get your Block Explorer to go this way. Pretty cool. But we're gonna go here. It's gonna cost us 40 UPX. No big deal. Not going to break my bank. I've got 121,000 UPX. We're good. Let's click here. All right. So it told us to go up. Now we need to go down. So it's somewhere between where I am now and this property, but it's also telling me to go down a little bit. So, let's triangulate that a little bit. Up, down. So we're going to go, let's go like right here. Let's go ahead and click this property. 100, don't want to spend that. Little too rich for me right now. Just kidding. It doesn't mean anything, but I do want to when I'm doing my standard hunts. Of course, you want to make a profit. That treasure hunting should be profitable for you. There we go. So if I click this property, it's showing me a little bit of red. If I click this property, it's still showing me a little bit of red. Let's click across the street. Still showing me a little red. Maybe we can even pull off here. Nope. Can't pull off here. What about this one? Nope. Okay, yeah, that actually did show me a little bit of red. All right, so we're close. So it's actually going to be. Let's judge our distance here. This is telling you we're close. So I'm going to actually scroll over a few blocks. Let's go here. Let's hit send. We got to find this because we have 2 minutes. We're good. Yeah, here we go. So see how it was going a little slower. Now that little red thing is beating. Look at this. Here it is. Let's click here. As we get closer, even look at that. Look at the difference. Sending to this property, it's still telling me down. But if I send here, now it's telling me to go down, but it's also telling me to go left. Fun little tip there. Let's click on this property. So it's actually one of these properties. It's telling me left, it's telling me right. It's probably, it's right there. We can't send, or we can, but it's not here. There it is. See how this says go to treasure chest? If you were competing for this, you would want to click this very quickly. So now you've seen everything, because now we'll click here. Here's that treasure chest that we can collect. Again, we followed the arrows. We started up here, up by that spark. We sent down to this property down here. Then we went up, then we went down, then we went around, we went over, but we followed the arrows until we needed to get to where we were. So, we've done a few of these now. We won that pineapple. We won that limited earlier. Then we did another one and we won the spark, and then we just won the treasure chest. So we have a fun little video coming up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 8 things to collect, which is going to be super fun. My name is Russell Envy. You can find me over on Twitter with Russell Envy. Check this out. We'll go Twitter like this, and then we'll go to my profile, Russell ENVY. Follow me over here. I'm always collecting about piñatas and treasures, or I'm trying to help other players. I even have a video somewhere here. It should be pretty quickly coming up here. This is another treasure that I won, $23.73 or 23,000 UPIX, which is pretty cool. But I'm always trying to post. Look, here's my spark again. Here's another piñata here. Let's go. Scroll down. This is not my treasure hunting video. You'll find it, but you can actually watch in real time. Here we go. Let's close this out, and I'm going to turn off the sound. But so you can actually see this is going to start in 1 second. So you can see we'll pause it here. Let's go back. Let's go here. So when I started this video, we had about 10 seconds ready before this exclusive. So it's going to count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And when it starts, I tap on that property, and then it's telling me left, and you can actually see the little arrow pulse. So I actually only need to see it pulse once, maybe twice before I'm moving. So let's watch this again in real time. Let's go ahead. I'm going to turn off the sound. I'm going to hit play. It's playing in my headphones, probably not yours. So watch this. 1, now I'm going to zoom out with my fingers, scroll over. I'm going to send to this property. I'm just going to hit send, confirm, stop. So now, while this is trying to move over, while my little guy is moving over, I'm clicking this little pawn piece, my little mover here. It looks like the send icon. Again, remember when this sends, if we wait for this thing to load, if we wait for this to land here, you're probably going to lose. So I'm going to click here. I'm going to hit confirm. Then I'm going to click on this little dude here. I'm going to bring it in, and then I'm looking for this arrow. It went super fast. You probably didn't even see the arrow, but watch this. 3, 2, 1, start here. We go from the left, or to the left. I'm going to zoom in, click here, hit send, hit confirm. I'm going to hit the little pawn piece, zoom in to where I'm sending. I'm going to click, and then the arrow showed right there. I only needed to see it for half a second. There it is. It was actually hiding. You can actually see it right here behind my little puzzle piece. It's right here in this little crevice here. You can actually see it populate right there. But where this piece was, again, when we sent over here, I didn't see it originally until I closed, but then I did see it. So it's telling me to go down. I clicked this property. I'm going to go ahead and hit send. So we started from my favorite property in the center. We went left and we went down. And look, all of a sudden, right? Not even close down here. You can see that this is telling me that I'm closer. This is white, but we're pulsating a little bit better. But now that we hit down here, I'm going to send to this property. And when I hit send, again, click confirm. I'm going to hit the little piece down here, zoom in, and then I'm going to click on a property that's not the one that I sent to. And look, there's my red arrow. So we went 1, 2. In 2 jumps, I was pretty dang close to where the treasure is. So now this is going to be my third send. I'm going to send right here. I'm going to go ahead and hit send. There's my piñata. And then I click on that little button real quick. So again, I'm going to hit send. Bam. It tells me I have a piñata. Here's my finger. This is where my phone shows you where I'm clicking stuff. I click this instantly. The second I see this, don't care what it is. Don't care if it's a dinosaur, a unicorn, a giraffe, a spark. Doesn't matter. I'm clicking it because even though you found the treasure, you need to be the first one to click on go to. Now that I click it, there's my dinosaur. There it is. I found this in about 34 seconds, something like that. Come follow me on Twitter. I have a lot of great stuff that you can see. This has been Treasure Hunting with myself. I'm Russell Envy. Now, give me a second. I'm going to go over. I'm going to get my phone ready, and we are going to collect all of these piñatas.
Subscribe.
All right, everybody. I have switched over to my mobile, and you can see a much smaller screen, and this is how I actually see the game most of the time. So I'm going to go to my settings. I'm going to turn off each one of these right here. I don't like to have any of those on. I don't need to see other markers. I don't need to see other players. I don't want to see 3D properties. I don't need to see, skyscrapers, stuff like that. People are starting to build buildings in Upland. Don't really care in this instance here. This is how I normally operate. So, you can just basically touch these little dots here, and you can zoom in pretty easily. So I can just touch this one, zoom all the way in. That's something that you really can't do on a desktop. I know there's ways to do it, but not like this, not where you just touch it once and you zoom all the way there. Doesn't matter how high you are. But you can hit this 2, and then you go here, then you hit this 1. So even just being able to touch versus click with a mouse, I think I'm much better with my hand when I'm treasure hunting. It's much easier for me to touch here and then pinch and zoom in or pinch and zoom out. I think I can do that much quicker than I do it on a mouse. Again, totally up to you. I like to hunt on my mobile. So we can see as I zoom out here, I have quite a few treasures that we get to go and collect. Let's zoom in a little bit more. This will probably bring them in. Let's go like this. All right, zoom out. So I have a dinosaur, a spark box. So the spark box is up by that number 2. I have a normal treasure, which is this little brown one. I have a unicorn. I have a giraffe. I have a pineapple, another unicorn, another dinosaur. So we have quite a few things that we're going to collect. When you treasure hunt, like we've been talking about, it does pay off, especially if you're going after these exclusives. These little orange ones here, you can see that somebody actually won a $5,000 or $5.64. That piñata right there, even though it's limited, won more than Luke 1 did by getting the exclusive. So every now and then, those purple ones have a lot of money in them. Hopefully ours does too, which will be a good thing. But you can just see, statistically, you have those purple piñatas. They're not really worth as much as, as much as like the animals, but sometimes they pay off. So, all right. I'm going to show you, as you start treasure hunting, the very best part of it is the collection process. So I'm starting this with $120. I have 120,858 UPIX, so that's $120.85. So we're gonna see. Let's zoom in where I am right now, and I have 7 sends. Actually, let's go collect all of my sends. So let's hit the little puzzle piece, the little send icon. This gets us to the highest point zoomed out. You know what? Let's just see. Yeah, we can follow our path. There's 2, so we were at 7, right? So now we're at 9. I'm cool with 9. Let's go back. So what I want to do is I want to click my little guy, click this little airplane. I'm at 9. That's fine. I don't need to go crazy trying to find sends. So I'm at 120,858 UPIX right now. So we're going to keep track. I'm going to keep screenshot, and then at the very end, we're going to see how much UPX we've earned. So let's start with the very first treasure, which is the most common. That is this little treasure chest here. Nothing too hard about this. All you have to do is touch this little treasure chest, and it's going to give us a reward. Here we go. Let's start with it. Touch it. It does this little graphic, which is pretty cool. Nice work. All right, so that was 230 UPX, UPIX, as some people call it. 23 cents is basically what we were just giving. Thank you, Upland. I appreciate the 23 cents. Treasure hunting is great. So let's go ahead and click reward. So now that goes into our bank. Hey, now we have another one. So let's go. The next one we have, let's go do the pineapple. So as we look at our history, the pineapple, and then see this other piñata, see this one where it says 411 and it says 541. The little symbol behind it, that's actually a traditional style piñata that you would see. Like, I think when you think of piñatas, that's what I see at least. So that one and the pineapple, those two, if you don't get the treasure chest and you don't get the spark, we're going to do the spark in a minute, but you're either going to get the spark box, the treasure, or you're going to get the pineapple, or you're going to get this piñata. So let's go ahead, let's do this pineapple. So you can be anywhere. You don't really have to be on top of the screen. What's going to happen is we're going to touch this, and then we have to touch the screen really, really fast to collect as much points as we can. So I'm going to just put this right here in the center of my screen. This is much easier to do on this mobile than a desktop, because this little pineapple is going to bounce to the left and to the right, but it can only, hold on one second. Excuse me. All right, so this little pineapple here, it can only go the width of my screen, which is much smaller than a mobile, or I'm sorry, which is much smaller than a desktop. I think that I win more on my mobile phone than I do on my desktop. I hunt here. I win on this. This is what I'm just used to. So let's click on the pineapple, get ready to tap, and now we're just going to tap this thing as hard as we can and go. So I'm already tapping. I'm using 2 fingers here. I'm just trying to click around. And so basically, see how this moves? I'm following it. All right, 420. Not bad, not bad. So we won 230 plus, now we're at 420. So we just won 65 cents. Not bad. Again, Upland, all money is great. I appreciate it. Thank you. Let's go ahead and close that. So 120, now we're up to 121, which is not bad. All right. So the rest of the piñatas are going to be the same, whether we're talking about this unicorn or we're talking about the dinosaurs. Everything else is going to be very similar to that pineapple. We're going to dive into those piñatas, though. There is something about them that you're going to try to look for, which is called the epicenter. So hang on for a few minutes. We'll talk about that. Let's go collect this spark. So I actually have some spark. I have 4.29. I have 2 available, which means I should go put those on my other property so I can start building that property faster. But so now I have more spark. So now this is because I'm in San Francisco. This little gold box is going to give me 0.02. So that means that I'm going to have instead of 4.29, I'm going to have 0.02, so 4.31 is what I'm going to have. Pretty awesome. I actually have more spark coming, so I have a 10th coming, so I'm going to have 4.31, 4.41 is how much I'm going to have, which is by tomorrow. That's going to be awesome. But so, again, very simple. This isn't going to move left and right. All you have to do is touch it. It shows you spark. It is going to give you UPX, but it's only going to give you 20. But that means 0.02. So if you got 60, you'd be getting 0.06. I've gotten a few of those. Go ahead, click reward. Again, Upland, thank you so much for the awesome things. So I just collected spark, which is very valuable in this game. So let's go ahead. Let's zoom out. What do we want to collect now? Let's do this dinosaur. So when we're talking about the epicenter, there is a part of this dinosaur. We need to figure out where, but I'm going to touch one part of this dinosaur and it's going to pay out more than if I were to tap any other part of the dinosaur. So it might be on his eyeball, it might be on the mouth, but so, as I'm doing this next piñata and as I'm trying to click on it, see if you can find the epicenter and, we'll try to figure out together where it is. Now, it's going to change on every piñata. It's not always going to be in the same spot. That's why you got to find it. But these piñatas, I do think that there is a price that this piñata is going to pay out. But, we could touch this dinosaur and not click a thing, and it doesn't mean it's going to automatically give us money. We have to earn this. So let's go ahead and tap the dinosaur. Get ready to tap that dino. Ready and go. And I'm already tapping. So it looks like right here in the middle, right here on his belly, is but let's go to the head, let's go to the tail, let's go here. So I'm just clicking around. Oh, there's somewhere. See, oh, wow. All right, not bad. That was awesome. So all that work just got me $3.26. So $32.60. So now, so far, with the treasures that we've collected, plus 20 for the spark, I'm at $3.93 so far. 3,930 UPX that I've collected. So far, not bad. Is it 6,000, 12,000? Definitely not. But, again, Upland, thank you for these treasures. Thank you for the free money. This is great. So let's go ahead. Let's zoom out. Now that Dino's gone, let's go get... Oh, I touched it already. So here comes this unicorn. Get ready to tap. Here's the unicorn. Oh yeah, this one's going to pay out a lot more. Let's get the head. Let's get the tail. That's awesome. That's right there. So this is 53.98. So now we're up to we were just at what, 3,900? Yeah, we were at $3.93 plus our 53.98. Now we're up to $9.32. So with just these so far, I've won a free $10 in the game, which is great. We went from 120 to 130. You can see my upix up there. Upland, thank you so much. Let's go here. Let's go get this dinosaur. Get ready. Here we go. There's the dino. So we're looking. Oh yeah, come on. It's definitely his head. Oh yeah. Plus another, let's look at this. Plus another 35, 40, 48. Now we're up to $12.87. Upland, thank you. Appreciate it. Let's go here. All right. My last two. I've been saving these for you guys. So far, I think the giraffe is my favorite. That's why I'm waiting to do the giraffe. Let's go ahead. Let's zoom in. My pretty little unicorn. All right, let's roll. Here we go. Get ready to tap this unicorn. All right, we'll take it. 38? 21.39. So now we're up to $15. Not bad. I mean, 7 treasures, $15, basically $2 a treasure so far. Still not bad. It's not 23,000 like we saw earlier. Upland, thank you. I appreciate all the money that I collect via treasure hunting. Alrighty, last one. Let's zoom out, and now we're down to 1. There can be only 1. Alrighty, I'm gonna give my fingers. I'm gonna shake them out here a little bit. $15.01 is what we're at right now. Let's zoom in on this giraffe. Hello, my giraffe. I'm about to claim. Let's go here. Alrighty. Come on, giraffe. $29.99 plus $29.99. So $18.01 is what we ended up with. So we're up to 138,875 upix. 120 to 138, 18,000. So I basically went from $120 in Upland to $138 in Upland. Plus, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to collect all of my earnings from all of these properties here. So this is going to give me another grand total, I think 149. So I'm basically, I'm so close. 149,904. So I basically have $150. Good news is, there's going to be a grand opening tomorrow of Berkeley, California, and Alameda, California. That's in Oakland. So I'm going to actually catch the train, go over to Oakland so I can be a part of the stress test tomorrow. I usually participate in all of the stress tests. They usually give you some free stuff. But thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you for learning how to treasure hunt. And definitely thank you for collecting pinatas with me. Um, personally speaking, again, Upland, thank you for all the free money. I was hoping I was going to walk away with maybe 50, 60 bucks, $18 at the end of the day. That's not bad. That was basically one whole day that I earned that. So in a whole day in Upland, you can earn $18, which, if you look, um, if I go to my properties right now, I basically make 32,000 UPIX a month. I make $32. So right there, 18,000. I basically just made half of what I make in a month on my properties. I just made that in a day, which is pretty awesome. So this month, if I take that plus 32,269, so far I will make $50 this month, but I've actually won so much more treasure than that. I usually bring in an extra 200,000, 300,000 UPIX a month. So, doing a lot more. My properties don't earn me as much as I think treasure hunting does, and I think that's why I'm very passionate about treasure hunting. But we'll start flipping properties. We'll start doing good stuff. This has been Treasure Hunting. I'm Russell Envy. Please follow me over on Twitter. Hit me up on Discord. I'll answer whatever questions you have. But you have had me now for about 2 whole hours. We've learned a lot about treasure hunting. The rest is up to you.